What is the void? And when did you get there? And what do you do when you're in there? In the void, I met Kali Ma, and she taught me sacred detachment. And so it's not so much so emptiness, but it's fertile darkness where the seeds of the new self are planted after the old egoic structures have been dismantled. So, on a metaphysical level, as Carl Jung stated, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Kali Ma is a personification of this process. Her dance of destruction is not random violence. It's actually a precise surgical dismantling of the ego's illusions. The identities, the attachments, and the stories that keep us bound to suffering is what she breaks. So the Kali Ma remembering practice. This is an invocation and a sacred role play. Each evening, I will light a candle and I will stand in front of that candle and call on Kali Ma and ask her what illusions, attachments, or identities are beneficial for me to sever. Then for the next 10 minutes, I would sit with her. Sometimes I would move or listen to her mantra. And I would practice saying no out loud as her. I would use affirmations to help me embody the invocation. The art of sacred detachment, one of the affirmations I used was, I'm not this role. I'm not this story, right? I am simply consciousness where these things rise and fall. And this helped to reprogram my subconscious mind from I am hurt to witnessing I feel hurt, I'm aware of it, and I'm also aware of my power to change it. So being in the void, it's very uncomfortable because you're figuring things out as you go. There's no planning, there's no fixing, and you just have to learn how to be. And you have to learn how to teach your nervous system to be safe even when you're in that in between space because the ego hates this, but it helps the soul to expand. So here's a distinction between your identity and your I divinity. The wounded identity, dent, and the I divinity are like cornerstones of my liberation. So the traumatized part of myself, the identity, it runs on a script, and that script was written by my past. The core question was, how can I change myself to be safe, loved, and accepted? It is reactive fear based, and it kept me living in a state of perpetual negotiation with external forces and people. Now, the sovereign self, which is the I divinity, it operates from an innate truth. And the core question is, how can I honor my truth and remain in my power regardless of the external climate? It's not responsive, it's love based, and it navigates the world from a place of unshakable internal groundedness. The solution, the 3D matrix hack that I found to help with this was the A team. It was awareness to catch the trigger. If my stomach is clenched when somebody says something to me, to be aware of it, but then to accept it and to validate what I'm feeling without judgment. This trigger is here. My feelings are valid. I don't have to justify it. I don't have to figure it out right now. And the last one was to anchor, act, to create a boundary in that place, to create safety for myself. And so by doing these things, I was able to use my triggers in a way that was beneficial for me. And I did have to take it slower with myself. I did have to take time away if there was a difficult conversation being had. And so by making those sacred declarations, my inner world matters more than the outer drama I may be experiencing, right? And so my I divinity didn't feel like it had to walk through a minefield, but my identity did. And so on a somatic level, the body started to send messages through symptoms. And it's not random. They all actually carry a story and mean something. In traditional Chinese medicine and somatic psychology, it points to certain core issues. So, like a disconnect from the earthly, feminine, and receptive principles can show up as headaches, overactive mind, worrying, the spleen, your stomach. There's an imbalance there. So, the energy of the earth element, which is the spleen, it may be weak. And so, you may not feel grounded. Your mental energy may be all over the place, right? And that energy rises up and it causes chaos in the head. If you're having stomach issues, the body can't digest or process these life experiences. So it's having a difficult time also processing food. If you have period cramps and sore breasts and reproductive issues, that's the sacred and creative nurturing centers of the body, and they're in a state of protest against the way that you're living. The womb is the seat of creation, and it screams that it's holding energies that are not conducive to your life. If you're having poor sleep and feeling disconnected, the nervous system, it's so hypervigilant, it can't surrender to rest and digest. The spirit is refusing to fully inhabit a vessel that is in constant pain and constant alarm and hypervigilant. So the I divinity, the higher self, it can't come into your body. So a protocol that I created, it's like a goddess organ alchemy that you can pair with healing architects. So like for the spleen, you could work with Gaia, right? You could visualize roots growing from your feet into the earth. Like as you sip on some pinella tea or some oat straw tea, some of my favorites to use to stabilize my nervous system.